Hello, my dear children. It's great to be with you. So last time we had our storytelling last Sunday, and I told you that next storytelling will be on Saturday. And today is exactly Saturday, so it's time for our next storytelling. And last Sunday we celebrated Divine Mercy Sunday. And also I told you that Divine Mercy Sunday was instituted by the Pope John Paul II. And John Paul II is originally from Poland. He was born in Poland and he grew up in Poland. And before, when he was the Pope, his name was Karol Wojtyła. So today I would like that we will hear a little about the Pope, John Paul II. But, that we will hear about his birth and then when he was little boy and when he grew up. And so he had not easy, but very interesting life. So I hope that you are ready. So let's listen about, the Pope, John Paul II. I prepared special book for you about him. So, are you ready? Wonderful! Let's start! The story of Saint John Paul II, a boy who became Pope. It was deep in the month of May. The wind whistled through the fields of a small country town in the heart of Poland. A little boy was born that day. His parents named him Karol, but everyone called him Lolek. The seasons went quickly by and Lolek grew. He was the second best goalie in town, but one day he slipped and missed the ball. His best friend Jerzy helped him to his feet. "Well, you can be great all the time," he said. Lolek disagreed. "Let's race to the lake, and whoever swims to the other side first is the greatest." And off they ran. Lolek lost the race, but he got home in time for supper. "Lolek, be very quiet," Papa said. "Your mother is sick and needs rest." The next day, she didn't seem much better, or the next. Lolek hoped to cheer her up. So he plucked a red poppy from the field and gave it to her. "I brought you a present," he whispered. She thanked him with a smile. "Lolek, soon I am going to meet God," his mother said with a tear in her eye. "You won't be coming back, Mama, will you?" "No, Lolek, I am dying, but I will always watch over you." "Mama, I promise I will do great things." "I am sure you will," she said softly. "But there is something even more important. Lolek, who do you love most?" "I love you and Papa and Edmund and yes, but who do you love the most?" Lolek grew quiet. He didn't know how to answer. Love is the greatest gift we receive and the greatest we can give. Someday you'll have an answer to my question. And when you know who you love most, you will also know what to do. He placed the pup in a cub by the window. Then he kissed his mother goodbye. Lolek was very sad. Time passed. One day Lolek woke up to the gentle morning breeze. His broken heart felt much better. He was also proud of his older brother Edmund. He had become a fine doctor. On the way to church, Edmund asked, "So, what do you want to be when you grow up?" "Me? I want to be an actor on the stage." "I think that it's a great dream," Edmund replied. Lolek was glad. If Edmund thought being an actor was a good idea, then it had to be. Edmund encouraged Lolek by inviting him to perform for his patients in the hospital. At first, Lolek was nervous, but once he began, he became calm. Acting came naturally to him. One winter evening, the wind howled in the biting cold. Edmund told Lolek to stay home because many of his patients had cough and deadly fever. Lolek watched as his brother was swallowed by the snowstorm. He hoped Edmund would be safe. Lolek slept by the window until his father woke him up. "Lolek, hurry, put your coat on. There is trouble at the hospital." In a blink, they were on their way, but Lolek didn't know why they were in such a hurry. When they got to the hospital, Lolek didn't see his brother anywhere. Everyone was busy. Then Lolek saw that Edmund was sick in bed. He was as pale as Mama had been before she died. Lolek felt his face grow hot. "Edmund, please don't die. I love you so much," he pleaded. "I love you too. I'll just have to love you from heaven." Edmund's voice grew weaker. "I am going to meet God and to see Mama again." "Just remember Mama's question, Lolek. Who do you love most?" Lolek's thoughts carried him away to warm summer memories and fields full of puppies. And then there was another goodbye. It hurt him very much. In time, Lolek's heart mended. He smiled easily as he sped across the square to meet Father Leonard at St. Mary's Church. Lolek polished the statues and swept the floor, and when he was done, the kind priest suggested that he pray for a bit. Meanwhile, Jerzy sat in the noon sun waiting for his best friend. He had something very important to tell Lolek. When he was tired of waiting, Jerzy went to the church to see if his friend was there. He pulled on the heavy door. Then, all of a sudden, a lady clutched his arm. She frowned at him. "You are not allowed in there," she clucked. "You are a Jew." Lolek heard what she said and ran outside. "Ma'am, my father told me we are all God's children. Jerzy can come into the church if he wants to," Lolek said. Lolek took Jerzy by the hand and ran off. They left the woman with Father Leonard. The two boys spent the day at Jerzy's house. At twilight, the stars began to fill the sky. Jerzy suddenly remembered the news he had wanted to share with his friend. Lolek, I forgot to tell you. We both passed our exams. We did? We are going to have so much fun together in high school, Lolek exclaimed. Jerzy shrugged. Yeah, but you'll be too busy doing great things to have fun anymore. We can have fun and do great things, I promise. High school was fun, but Lolek's favorite part about it was being an actor in school plays. One of his friends helped Lolek get his first big role. His performance was a great success. Applause filled the theater on opening night. Right after the curtain closed, Lolek ran to thank his friend for helping him get the part. When he found her, her eyes were shiny with tears. What's wrong? Lolek asked. Haven't you heard the rumors? She replied. Yes, I heard that the Nazis are threatening Jewish people, and it won't be long before their soldiers march into Poland. They will try to do the same things here. Soon my family and I will have to leave so we can be safe. The idea that anyone would hurt his Jewish friends upset him. A few days later, Lolek and Jerzy talked about everything that was happening. War is coming, and many of our friends are leaving, said Lolek sadly. You know, I will have to go too, Jerzy responded. It isn't safe for us to stay here. I know, Lolek replied. Some of our Jewish neighbors have already escaped to other countries. Others are being watched. Lolek, you have always been a good friend. I will miss you, said Jerzy. I will miss you too, said Lolek. His heart tightened in his chest. I hope we will see each other soon. But neither really knew when or if they would see each other again. Soon the war came to Poland and covered the country in darkness. Lolek was now a young man, and his world was changing quickly. His Jewish friends who hadn't left Poland were in hiding. Some had been captured. Lolek and his father moved to a tiny apartment in the city. There, Lolek could continue his studies. He often read by candlelight. After dark, they could hear scuffles, shouts, and the heavy tread of soldiers. Those sounds made people afraid to go out at night. When schools began to close and some of his teachers were arrested, Lolek went to work in a stone quarry. His fellow workers were good men. Many of them offered to work in Lolek's place when he needed to study. There wasn't enough food to eat, but he fed his mind with books. One day, a blaster in the quarry said something unexpected. Lolek, you give us all hope. Have you ever thought about becoming a priest? Lolek chuckled. As he walked home that evening, he thought about what the blaster said. He also recalled the question his mother had asked him before she died. The year Lorek turned 19, the winter seemed endless. His father had been very ill. Lolek always remembered to bring home soup and medicine after work. "Papa, I'm home," he called one evening. But there was no answer. He started at his father lying in bed. "Papa, are you asleep?" Still no answer. Lolek placed his shaky palm over his father's hands. Lolek's father had died. First Mama, then Edmund, and now Papa. "Goodbye, Papa," he cried. Never before had Lolek felt so alone. Winter passed and Lolek finally felt like a grown man. People stopped calling him by his childhood name. He was now just Karol to all who met him. Karol still missed his father just as he missed Mama and Edmund. But he found joy in acting. During the war, Karol and his friends put on plays in secret. They did this to give the Polish people hope. Karol had another secret in his heart too. At first, he didn't talk about it, but the secret grew and grew inside him until he couldn't keep it hidden in anymore. "Are you really going to leave the theater to become a priest?" a good friend asked. Karol answered, "Yes." "But you could do great things for Poland as an actor," said another. "You are right," Karol explained. "But God is asking me to be a priest." Karol's friends were not surprised. His love for God had never been a secret, but they also knew how dangerous it was to become a priest during the war. Karol and the other young men preparing to be priests were very careful. They knew that if they were caught, it would cost them their lives. Finally, a few years later, the war ended. Poland was at peace, and the Jews were once again free. Still, Jerzy was nowhere to be found. Still, Jerzy was now here to be found. Karol couldn't find anyone who knew what had happened to him. Perhaps Jerzy had died fighting in the war. Maybe he had moved far away, or maybe he had been captured. All Karol knew was that his best friend was gone. As he finished his studies to become a priest, Karol was filled with joy. But there was one thing he worried about. "When my mother died, a little bit of me went with her," Karol thought. "And more of me lives each time I lose someone I love. Edmund, Papa, Jerzy, they are all gone. After this war, I don't know if I will have any love left to give God or anyone else." Karol pulled some petals off a flower and let the wind catch them. Maybe losing the people you love doesn't mean losing everything. "Lord," he prayed, "fill my heart with love." And what's happened next, I will read you tomorrow. Wow, I told you that Pope's life, was very interesting. Not always easy. Life is not every day easy. So we can have, some harder situations in our life that we are sad. And, also when we pray, we feel better. So tomorrow, I will finish our story about John Paul II. So God bless you and have a wonderful and blessed afternoon. Bye bye.